Hi, thanks for joining another episode of my interview series that I do with franchisors, franchisees, and everything that you may want to know about franchising. I'm John Anderson, also known as that franchise guy, and today I'm really excited to have Anthony Hurst join me. Anthony and I go back. It's been 2.5 years, maybe. It was late 22, I think, when we got started. So maybe a year and a half. And for the record, it's June of 2024 when we're recording this. So, but yeah, Anthony is a partner and I don't know if CEO or founder, whatever you want to call it, of HomeWell Care Services of Pearland, Texas. So he is a franchise owner there, and I'm going to let Anthony introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his story, and then we'll get into what HomeWell is and what he does every day, and hear his story. So, yeah, Anthony, please introduce yourself.
Hey, good morning, John. Hey, yeah, I'm Anthony Hurst. Live in Houston, Texas, suburb in Katy, but my franchise location is in Pearland, which is also a suburb of Houston. Also, I've been in healthcare for about 35 years out of college, and so for me, staying in healthcare was something that was very important to me, John. And so I didn't realize that they had home health franchises like this one. And so I just wanted to see how I could stay in the healthcare space, but also continue making a difference to patients and clients.
Yeah, I remember from the get-go our first conversation that um, it showed through very clearly, your passion for helping people and being able to, or being excited about the idea of building a business. And home care was obviously a perfect fit for you. Um, and your partner Al, we don't want to leave Al out, even though he
Yes.
can join us today. But you guys are the dynamic duo down there, and so you've been open about a year. Um, I think we connected, like I said, it was late November-ish of 2022, if I remember right, and you got started in like January, February of 23, and actually opened by June. So that's relatively quick, I think, in this industry, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really quick. One thing about us, we was looking at different franchises before HomeWell came to us. We were looking at
Mhm.
Subways and Jimmy John's, and we looked at I would say probably about 8 to 12 different franchise models. And I don't know how you and I got connected, but when we did get connected, you presented HomeWell to us. And one thing about me and my partner Al, before we get involved in something, we want to do our own research, to see
Yeah,
if it makes sense to us, and so I think we spent about 6 to 9 months just going back and forth, talking to you, doing research, having Zoom calls with you, just getting more insight of the franchise and and the different type of things it would provide us. And I think once we realized, after talking to my parents who are getting older, my mom was saying, "Don't ever put me in a nursing home when I get older."
right.
And so I kind of made that promise and commitment to her that we would never do that. I think that's what sealed the deal, that HomeWell or the home care space was the space that we want to go into.
Gotcha. Tell tell people a little bit about what you do every day in this business. If somebody is watching this, they aren't necessarily sold on home care. People who watch my interviews, are just thinking about franchising. And so talk to them, help them understand a little bit about somebody in this space. What do you do every day, and what's made you guys so successful in just a year being open?
Uh, I think so for us, every day for us looks like, we are constantly on the phone, returning phone
Mhm.
calls, talking to our care managers, our schedulers, regarding open shifts with current clients. Also, we are in meetings a lot. We are constantly here out and about in the city, meeting with different people with different nursing homes, SNFs, rehab facilities, going to talking to different care managers, case managers, social workers, anyone that can refer clients to your business. You want to be able to talk to them and share with them what HomeWell is or what your business is and how your business could be of a value
Yeah.
to the referral source patients or clients. And sometimes we'll go in and do sponsor a brunch or sponsor a lunch or do a happy hour or do what's called a meetup here in Houston. They do a lot down here where they'll bring a lot of different people together in the same industry and have a mixer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does, it allows everyone to get together, share what they do at their different companies or agencies, and see how they can collaborate or partner with one another. And so for us, we're constantly we've been able to build our business organically by being
Mm-hmm.
out, whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, whether it's sun or whatever. We are in the streets every single day. But then we take time to allow our business to grow by ensuring that we got the right support in place. We have orientations every single week, hiring new CNAs and caregivers. We also do unannounced visits to our clients, not to spy on our caregivers, but just to make sure that the client is receiving the services and the care that they are paying us to deliver. So it's important to always follow through and follow up with
Mm-hmm.
your clients to see how things are going and also to see if they are happy with your services.
Well, it definitely sounds like a relationship business, right? I
It
mean, and
is.
whether it's relationships with your referral partners, whether it's relationships with your clients, and even relationships with your caregivers, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that it's important. I really love this conversation because what a lot of people see when they go through the discovery process is the brochures and the videos of what the franchise thinks it's supposed to be,
Mhm.
but they don't always get connected with, well, here's how it really works.
Yeah.
and and more
Yeah.
importantly, it's here's how it works if you want to make it happen fast. and
Right.
and so I love that, because a lot of people don't have the success you guys have had in just 12 months, but listening to you talk about what you do every day, it's clear why. I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing all the right things, not sitting waiting for the phone to ring. You're going making it ring, hustling,
That's right.
and we were talking about it before we started the formal interview, about doing what it takes to be successful, and creating that plan around that, and then going out and work the plan. And I just love hearing that story. Um, and so, let me take a step back though and talk a little bit about HomeWell for somebody who might actually be thinking of home care. Maybe this is a fit for them. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I want to one follow up item on what you said you were doing every day. So, do you feel like sales skills are important? I mean, I know you're going out and meeting with people a lot, meeting these referral partners, building relationships, but a lot of people have a passion for helping and being in care, but the idea of being in sales scares them. What would you say about that?
I would say that, I I do not have a background in sales. I
Mm-hmm.
am a healthcare executive, 30 years. And so I've ran different hospitals, facilities, and my partner is a fireman and paramedic. He doesn't have a sales background, but what we do have, we are people persons.
Yeah.
We know how to get past those closed doors. We know how to communicate. We know how to share with people what we are and who we are as a model
Mm-hmm.
and what we can provide. You do not have to have a sales background because I thought the same thing. Well, I don't have a sales background, but what I do know how to do, I do know how to build relationships.
Yeah.
I know how to cultivate those relationships and nurture those relationships. That's what's important. If you are a shy person, this is not for you
Yeah.
because you cannot grow a business being behind closed doors. You have to be out there in the public eye, in the streets, beating the pavement, boots on the ground, because no one would know who you are or know anything about you if you are now present out there. And so to answer your question, no, you do not need a sales background, John.
Yeah. Well, and it's different too, you know, going to get a job to do sales for a credit card processing or something, fill in the
Right.
blank, versus talking to people about your own business, and that's something that's hard for people to understand until they actually are in that role.
That's right.
But yeah, it's much different type of relationship building and networking when you're just there talking about your business as opposed to, hey, I'm trying to sell you on something. So
Absolutely.
it's a, yeah. So I did want to make sure that we hit on that point. So as you talk about, okay, well, maybe home care is for me. I love the idea that I sleep well at night knowing I'm caring for people and I'm not making burgers and making the world fat or whatever, right? And so it might be for me. Well, tell me more about HomeWell, right? If I'm watching this video, so I'm a huge fan of HomeWell. I've worked directly with the organization. Full disclosure for anybody watching this, on an in-house relationship with HomeWell Care Services for a couple of years. So, in addition to being an independent consultant and broker, I am somewhat connected to the brand. I love them, but tell me about, from your perspective, why HomeWell? How was the onboarding and the training process getting started? Those kind of things.
I think with once we zeroed in on home care, that was the space we were going to go into. We looked at some other home care franchises, and so we looked at, I think, three others beside HomeWell. And I think what kept bringing us back to HomeWell is because the support that was going to be provided to us, the ongoing support, the structure they had in place, also the opportunity to talk to other franchise owners that have the franchise that you was trying to purchase and try to get more insight and more guidance on what things they have done in their stage of their business that has allowed them to gain success. And so we were able to talk to maybe 6 to 10 different franchise owners, who was able to talk to the leadership of HomeWell, from the CEO to her team of executives. And so for us, being able to have access to that type of knowledge in HomeWell and in the home care space was important. But also, anytime we need to talk to the CEO or any executive in HomeWell, we can. And the thing that we wanted, that was important for me and my partner Al, we want to partner with a franchise that provided that ongoing support and that guidance and that structure. That was
Mm-hmm.
important for us because once we start looking at others, well, that wasn't there. It's like you buy a franchise, go out there and figure it out. No, that's not, no, we putting a lot of money involved in this thing, a lot of
Yeah.
investments. And so we want to be able to be successful. And so I think that's what led us back to HomeWell, because what they shared with you, what they told you, is what they've been doing. You have access to us. And they, not just that, John, they give you the blueprint, like the playbook, basically.
Right.
If you follow the blueprint and the playbook, you will have success. Like I shared with you earlier on our call, before we got on the call, you know, um, for us, we are a people person, me and Alvin. And so we believe in being out there, building those connections. And HomeWell, I said the same thing. You have to be out there. You can't have a full-time. So I had a job in Al. And so for me, I was trying to keep doing my corporate job and do HomeWell at the same time. It wasn't working. So I had to pray about it and make a decision. I got to resign from my company job. And I was making a high six-figure salary, you
Yeah.
know, and the nervousness to leave a $200,000 a year job salary to go to no salary, you know what? That's nervous for some people. But me, I said that, you know what? This is what has to happen in order for HomeWell to be successful. So when I resigned from my job, we had 2 clients. And I said, you know what? If I keep trying to serve someone else, our company would be stagnated. We'd be stuck in mud the whole time. So I just prayed about it, and I resigned last December, and started doing this full time, you know. And so we've grown from 2 clients to over 40 clients in less than 6 months, and
Wow.
we have great referral sources. And so right now we're receiving about 4 to 7 new clients each week,
Mm-hmm.
each week.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. How do you find, so I want to ask, do I got two questions. So just to follow up on the HomeWell specific stuff. So I know they have a fantastic coaching program that you've got a coach assigned to you. How have you
Yeah,
found that level of ongoing support? I think is a big part of what you're talking about,
that's good.
and something a lot of franchises don't offer. So
Hmm.
has that proven to be everything you were looking for?
Yeah, having a franchise business coach, we have Debbie Simpson. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We meet every week, and I was sharing with her just last. I said, well, let's just go ahead and push this back to 2 weeks, every 2 weeks now. I don't need that support as
Mm-hmm.
much. I did at first. And then because then I shared with her, I said, and then we'll probably go to every month at some point, So I think when you first starting out, I think you need that support every single week from your
Yeah.
FBC, you know. And at the stage we're at right now, I feel like, okay, so we're doing some things right now. So let's go to every 2 weeks, twice a month, Debbie. And so for her, she's okay with that because she also sees our growth has been pretty fast, when we
Oh yeah.
started,
Yeah.
you know. And so for us, but she's also available if I got a question about anything, I can just call her, you
Yeah.
know, or Al can call her. And that's the thing we like about having that FBC coach assigned to you. They are
That's
always available for you and to you. If they
yeah.
don't have the answer, John, they'll get it for you.
That's awesome. No, it's a big part of that support, and it's good to hear because on my side of the fence, as I'm talking to people before they get started, um, this is actually a little unusual too. I don't get a chance to talk to every client that I work with,
Mhm.
6 months, a year, 2 years after the fact
Yeah.
in here. So it's great to hear that's coming through. Um, one question I get from a lot of people who are thinking about this business, is the other side of growing it. 4 to 7 clients a week is amazing, and a testament to what you guys are doing in the community. But what about the caregivers? If you don't have the caregivers, you can't get the clients either, right? You can't service them. So
That's
how do
right.
you? And I know that's a tough spot or a tough place for a lot of people. Where are you getting them? How has HomeWell helped you find caregivers?
The caregivers are your biggest, they are the bread and butter or the lifeline of your organization. You have to have CNAs and
Mm-hmm.
caregivers. And one thing that we do, so we use Indeed, my CNA a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, I don't just put one ad on Indeed or my CNA, I put multiple positions, you know.
Okay.
And what happens is I try to tailor each ad for different territories in our that we have here in Houston. So we got about 19 different zip codes in our territory. So what I do, I'll put an ad on Indeed for each one of those territories. And because the problem is we may call 15 caregivers for orientation, right? Only 4 may show up.
Right.
So we have an orientation every single week. We have one going on as we speak right now. You know, they are caregivers and CNA. What we've learned is that they move around a lot in this industry. You know, sometimes they're unreliable. Sometimes you get you a good one that you stick with, you take care of them. And I think what we've learned is that we pay our caregivers pretty well, above
Yeah.
industry standards. We pay them very well. And so I think we've had some success. We haven't had any issues where caregivers, you know, did anything bad to a client. It's just sometimes they'll do a no call, no show. And for us, we have zero tolerance for no call, no shows because that
Mm-hmm.
client is dependent on you, you know?
Yep.
So that means me or my partner or my care manager got to go out there and sit with that client until we find a replacement, And so I will tell you, you have to continuously interview for caregivers. I don't care if you got enough. No, you have to continue hiring, interviewing because at some point someone will call off, won't show up, will quit on you, then you stuck. Because the good
Mm-hmm.
thing about it is it's better to have caregivers, than none. And so for us, we try to we try to at least have 4 or 5 in our stable, but we also do what's called we have an on-call schedule too. So if a caregiver no call, no shows, we can have caregivers that we give a one-time bonus of $100 to fill in at the last minute if a caregiver calls in or no show. So
That's
just
great.
trying to have different incentives. We also offer caregiver of the month,
Hmm.
where we go out there and surprise the caregiver at the home. We let this client know we're coming out there and we'll present them with a certificate, a gift card for $500, and they get the chance to meet and have lunch with the two owners, me and Al, of their choice at any restaurant. Because we want to make them feel empowered. We want them to feel supported, but we also want them to be heard of anything that they have going on that they want to share with us. What can we be doing better as an organization?
I absolutely love that. In fact, I'm going to steal it. I think we operate several businesses of our own, and including some hair
Absolutely.
salons. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I love that idea of not just visiting and getting to know your team, but actually, taking the employee of the month, in your case, the caregiver of the month, or whatnot, to lunch and giving them a bonus for it.
Hmm.
Man, everything that you're telling me is like, wow, if I was going to design a plan, and not just in home care, but in starting a business, I would want to pattern it after what you guys are doing. That's phenomenal, and it's obviously showing in your numbers. Um, and I'm glad we got to talk a little bit about employees, because I think that people need to understand, business isn't easy.
Hmm.
Um, but the rewards of owning your own business, when it's done right, are, multiples of the investment, and both in time, in lifestyle, and in money. And
Absolutely.
so, but it's not easy. So I think what people need to take away is there's going to be challenges,
Yep.
but there are ways to overcome them. And HomeWell is going to be there to support you through that. They know
Hmm.
you're going to have challenges, uh, and again, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So,
Absolutely.
but I think creating that culture in your organization too. That one thing you didn't talk about, and I'm going to assume this is probably true, the caregiver community is fairly small, right? A lot of them know each other,
They do.
and so I'm guessing in a short year span, you probably already have caregivers coming in saying, well, my friend works for you and they've told me how awesome it is, and I want to work for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that
missing.
is
Yeah,
true. And
yeah.
one thing I will say is we had a client that called us yesterday, actually. We take care of his mom and his dad. It's a couples case for us. And he said, before I get started, I want to talk to you guys about how pleased we are with, her name is Cassie. We just love Cassie. She takes care of my
Mhm.
mom and my dad so well. And he said, I want to give her, he want to give her a bonus. And was asking us, is it okay? I said, of course it is. And so we're going to surprise her today with the son, at the home, because he is just extremely impressed with the way that his parents have responded to her, and the fact that what he sees, because we can go in there and tell him what we're going to deliver as a company, as an agency, but he
Right.
actually sees it firsthand from our team. And when he called us, we felt so good, and we love hearing um, a feedback like that about our caregivers. But we also ask all of our clients to give us a review,
Mhm.
about how they feel about our services, and the support that they get from HomeWell. So it makes us feel very well when we get good feedback regarding our caregivers, because it is a small industry.
Yeah. Those,
Everybody knows
those,
everybody.
that's right. Even in a huge city like Houston, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
those reviews are important too for any business, but certainly in the home care space. Everybody, before they have you come into your home, is checking to see
absolutely.
whether, do you have 2 stars or 5 stars, right? Or
That's right.
well, the 5 stars always make me a little nervous. I'm looking like 4.8, 4.9, right? Those are the good
Yeah,
ones. Then otherwise they've been loaded with fake reviews. But no, just in all seriousness, those reviews are certainly important. Wow, this has been awesome catching up with you and hearing how things are going and your approach to business. As we wrap up, really just two final thoughts. One, would you encourage somebody else to get into this space and encourage them to talk to HomeWell if they have a passion for care and want to start a business? Would you do it again? I guess, kind of a thing.
Looking back on where we was a year ago, it's probably one of the best investments that myself and I think Alvin would concur that we've made as business
Mm-hmm.
partners. On other businesses in and out together, but this is one that we are ecstatic about because every single day you have 10, 15,000 people that turn 65 years old, right? So for us, we want to always be able to capitalize and reach those people. So my answer would be yes, I would do it all over again, John, because we are happy with where we are, but we are more happy about where we're going as a company.
Yeah. I look forward to doing this again in 3 or 4 years and
Let's do
seeing
it.
where those numbers lay. That's right.
Absolutely.
Uh, the last thing I'll ask you, and this is a little bit for me and people who might be thinking they've watched some of my videos and haven't picked up the phone to call me yet. How was the experience working with me? To go through the franchise research and make sure that you're in the right spot. It's the right fit for you.
I think, one of the reasons we did go with HomeWell was because you pretty much was that you were there for us from start to the end.
Yeah.
You held our hand, you gave us the pros, the cons, you didn't pressure us. You checked in with us. We was doing our research and due diligence. Um, we could not be more thankful for you because you came into our lives at a time where he and I were trying to figure out which way we want to go. And I think you just
Mm.
came in and just kind of came in and helped us and you gave us the guidance that we were looking for. And so we are very grateful, John, and very appreciative of everything you've done for Alvin and myself.
Well, I appreciate the feedback for sure, and I promise I kind of thought that might be the answer, but you never know what people are going to say. So I definitely
Right.
appreciate that. That's what I'm striving for, and I do value our relationship 100%.
Absolutely.
And so excited to see what you guys are doing down there in Houston and in Pearland specifically. So thanks so much for joining me. This is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, and it's been great to
Appreciate
catch
that.
up with you for sure. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, John. You
Yeah,
appreciate that, man.
absolutely. Anybody who's interested in learning more about HomeWell or home care, you can reach me at thatfranchiseguy.com, and there'll be a closing slide here with my contact information on it as well. Thanks again for joining me, everybody, today.